But why don't we get to sustainability more, Matt?
Yep.
I think this is one that I see questions here on it, and we had
Yep.
planned to talk about it.
Yeah, let's do that. Miles, can we have polling question number 3 while we get into the sustainability discussion? Sorry to shift things around on you. Yeah, what's keeping you from deploying more single-use technologies? So that's for the audience. If you guys wouldn't mind taking a look at that and choosing all that apply, we'll revisit that in a moment. But yeah, regarding sustainability, we do have a number of questions around sustainability, and let's start with one of the questions that just came in from Lacan. How important do you think sustainability is in the manufacturing or disposal of single-use material, including opportunities for recycling in the industry?
It's tremendously important, and I love the paradox. And the paradox is that using single-use plastic in our industry is a good thing for the environment. And why? Well, I won't recite what we wrote in several BPSA papers. If you go to bpsalliance.org, you'll see a series of 3 papers in our technical reports section called The Green Imperative, where a bunch of us wrote. I was co-author on these. Many of us got together and wrote about what does sustainability mean for biopharma? What does it mean in the context of single use, and how does single use help? And in short, the way it helps is it reduces the energy and water consumption that's needed at a biopharmaceutical manufacturing facility. It reduces the clean room grade that's required, which again reduces the space you need. If you were operating in grade C rather than needing to go to B and A, you have fewer rooms, you have fewer air handlers. It all works out. The question about X-ray is related to sustainability as well. Anytime you make a change, you should evaluate safety, operability, cost, and sustainability should be part of that decision to make the change. So if we switch from gamma to X-ray, is that better for the environment or is that worse for the environment? In the BPSA Sustainability Committee, they've been talking about that recently. There've been some nice studies done, which if you've ever done these sustainability life cycle assessments, there's a lot of assumptions to be made and a lot of discussion to be had. But it's something that I'm pleased to say we're looking at early on in the course of making a change or an addition in going from gamma to X-ray, or maybe exclusively X-ray in the future. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and this is very, very important. I mean, I think any of us, in any industry, should be considering sustainability in our daily activities.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things, Mark, you just said, that this, in general, single-use technologies, when studied deeply, are comparably favorable to multi-use technologies from a life cycle analysis, really in depth. And the old study that people cite on that, I think it was GE Healthcare wrote it before they became Cyclone. Yeah, and so that was before suppliers started really working on their own sustainability, right? So I think, I don't know how many suppliers are now submitting themselves for audit by EcoVadis. Advanipure made a big deal, I saw on LinkedIn at Interfex. They got a gold, and they've been committed to solar technology for running their facilities for years now. And they're not alone. Others are committed to this as well. And I saw recently somebody got an EcoVadis Silver. One of my former employers was dedicated to this, and it's not easy to get these badges. You've got to have really a deep commitment, and it's not just window dressing. But the point, I guess, is that, I'll get to my point, which is, but you still got to throw something away, and that feels bad. Right, you crumple up. I mean, I remember when I was at Sartorius and we did training, and we'd have a 3,000 liter bag that we used once. We filled it, we drained it, we mixed with it, whatever, and you'd struggle to stick a 3,000 liter bag in a trash can. I mean, it was one, and certainly there's an emotional piece to this. We know the materials themselves are extraordinarily difficult to recycle. Transporting goods to a critical mass of recycling is terrible for the environment. Driving trucks around with garbage in them instead of just 10 miles to whatever your municipal treatment facility is, hundreds of miles so it can be mechanically recycled. That's probably a bad idea, but does it make you feel better? So I think feel-good solutions are what we should try and stay away from, and think more about true solutions that reduce the overall impact. So I don't know. I want to get you on pyrolysis, Mark. We got to talk about pyrolysis. The
chemical recycling, yeah. Pyrolysis, that's from the old days for me. It's making a resurgence now. Yeah, I like the idea of just take apart the plastic and then make new plastic from it.
Mark,
at the molecular level, right?
Yeah. On that note, there's a question from David on this note that if we could maybe dig into a little bit. Are there ways of dealing with the mass of plastic waste single-use systems generate? And he says, I'm thinking of carbon sequestration. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Sequestration credits for plastic deep burial, et cetera. So, I mean, to your point, Paul, and your point as well, Mark, like you've got to throw away or recycle or deal with this plastic waste somehow. What are some of the, I guess, approaches we're taking to doing something responsible with that waste?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, but the really important thing to look at from a bioprocess perspective is we don't have very much plastic compared to all the plastic in the world. Now, not saying that we can be irresponsible with it, or that, in fact, what I've promoted in BPSA is, well, let's be leaders. Let's set an example of what could happen with something close to either a circular economy for plastic or at least a beneficial reuse. But when you go and talk to real recycling companies, the first question they ask you is, how much material do you have? And when they hear how much we have, especially if it comes from a single plant, they're generally not all that interested. So one of the nice things that companies have done, Millipore was a big leader in this, was to establish partnerships with companies that are dealing with hospital waste on a recycling basis. And there is a company called Triumvirate near me here in Pittsburgh, in Jeanette, Pennsylvania, takes plastic waste from Pittsburgh area hospitals. They now take waste from some major pharmaceutical companies as well, and they convert that into building materials. They're a licensed sterilizer and medical waste treatment facility. This is certainly a well-run and well-regulated operation. But as Paul said, if your facility's in California, you're going to really drive your stuff all the way across the country to get to these people near Pittsburgh? Probably not. So setting up recycling options, I feel, is a matter of creating partnerships. If you're going to be in biotech with plastic that needs to be disposed of, you need to join with others to get the critical mass required for a recycling operation to be interested.
Yeah, I think the concept of sequestration is a good one. If you burn it, the carbon goes into the atmosphere, whereas if it's captured in building materials or even landfilled, if land is available and that's the option that's good in that local municipality, that carbon is very powerfully captured in the plastic for a very long time. So if you're concerned about greenhouse gas as your primary decision driver for this, then maybe that's a good option. But the story's not written here for sure. Appreciate, Mark, your thoughts on it.
Let's take a look, Miles. Let's take a look at those polling results and see where sustainability ranked as waste management issues. Not a trivial number there at 21. Maybe it's just because of the primacy recency thing we were talking about it, but that ranked pretty high. Waste management issues.